Alright guys, today we are going to make a video on how to change guitar strings. The required tools you'll need, basically just some wire cutters. Obviously strings, I'm going to be using Ernie Ball 10s. And preferably a soft cloth. Nothing too harsh that'll scratch any of the paint or anything. This is a guitar that we will be changing strings on today. It is an Xavier. I currently have strings on it right now, so we'll start off by loosening those. You can buy string winders that they cut the strings and they will also wind the tuning pegs as well. It makes string changing a lot faster, but I currently don't have mine with me, so we're doing all this by hand for now. Now that we have the strings pretty loose, we're gonna go ahead, get our wire cutters here. And what we're gonna do, go ahead and clip your strings. My wire cutters aren't very sharp, but just go ahead and clip the strings off. We will not be reusing these at all. If you guys have a bridge like mine, it has two pieces. This is called a tune-o-matic bridge. The bottom piece, or the saddle, just slips off, and the middle piece right here, you always want to have these screws facing the pickup. This is the bridge, this is the neck pickup, this is the bridge pickup. Always want to have these screws facing the pickups. Some people get confused, some people get mixed up with that. Now we're just going to go ahead and take the strings off the tuner pegs and set those aside. We'll throw those away later because, like I said, we will not be reusing those. Now that we have those out of the way, go ahead and take this off as well. Should just pull off. Sometimes they're a little hard to get off. You don't have to, but I would prefer it very highly. If you do not have any special guitar cleaner, I would suggest getting Pledge wood floor cleaner. I would do basically the same thing. We're just going to put this on the fretboard. It is basically just to put oil back into the wood and make sure that the wood in the fretboard doesn't dry out. So we're just going to get a little bit of that on here, not too much. Make sure you get it all the way up and down the fretboard. Like I said, not too much, not too little, enough to kind of wetting the whole fretboard. And then with your soft cloth, you want to just kind of rub it in and clean it off. Not only is this going to help moisten the wood and make sure that it's not dried out, it will also clean your fingerboard. make it feel a lot less dry. If you have a very dry feeling fretboard, this will help a lot. You want to make sure you try to do this every time you change your strings, and then just kind of make sure you get every single fret here. I'm going to make sure this is completely dry before we put the strings on. So after you have that all done, fingerboard will look a little less dry, feel much better too. You're going to want to just kind of wipe down the body of your guitar. So wherever you see smudges or anything, just kind of wipe it down. Typically, you're going to not really mess with these so much unless your bridge is too high or too low, then that'll be on another video. We're gonna go back to this saddle piece here. Go ahead and get all the strings off in it. These strings we can just discard in our little pile here so we can throw those away later. Now that we have that taken care of, we can put this piece back on, screws facing the pickup. Like I said, we are going to be using Ernie Ball 10s. You can, the number of the strings is going to be the very first number off of the side where my thumb's at. You can get 9s, 10s, 11s, 12s. I like to use 10s. They're not super light, but they're not too heavy either. You can down tune with them, or you can just have them in E standard. So that's what I like to use, but everybody has different preferences. Set the camera down for a second so we can open these up. The way I like to do my strings, the biggest number is going to be the top string, the top E string. So it is going to be the thickest string. When you open them up, they're going to be in order: 46, 36, 26, 17, 13, and 10. The numbers on the strings are just the thickness of the strings. What we're going to do is get our saddle piece again here. Now what we're going to do, get the string out. No matter what strings you buy, really, they're going to be kind of like this. You just kind of unravel them. They're just going to unfold on their own. So the saddle piece is going to sit in just like that. So what we're going to want to do, the first string is going to slide in this hole. It's much easier with two hands, but I'm trying to hold the camera as well. So the first string is going to be like that. Go ahead and discard the empty E string container. Now our A string, again, is going to be raveled up, so we're just going to untuck that, and it'll unravel for us. And you're going to put this one in the hole right next to our first E string. Pull it all the way through. There we have two strings in our saddle piece. Now we're going to get our D string out. Again, it's going to be raveled up, gonna just untuck that and put that in right next to our A string. Pull it all the way through. It's basically the same process. We're gonna do the exact same thing with our E string here. Untuck it. We're gonna put this one. We're gonna put this one right next to our D string. Now we're going to get our B string, second to last string. Again, untuck it. It'll be unraveled. Now put the B string in the slot right next to the G string. Pull all the way through. And our last and final string is our bottom E string, our smallest string. Untuck it so it unravels. Get the end piece. Put it through the hole and pull it through. Now that we have all 6 of our strings in, we are going to put our saddle piece and slide it in. May or may not stay in, that's fine. Well, as soon as we put tension on the strings. Now what we're gonna do, we're gonna focus on one string at a time. So we'll start with the top E string. Get the very end of the string, get your tuner all aligned. Pull it through the tuner. We're going to make sure that everything's okay. And what you're going to want to do, go to your 12th fret, it'll be the double dots. Pull up about a finger's width. Got a little too much slack in the strings there. A little bit too much slack in the strings. We're gonna kind of pull over here down by the tuner. Looks like that's about good. Push down right in front of the tuner and twist the tuner up until we start getting tension. Once we start getting enough tension for it to go on its own, make sure it's lined up at the bridge down here and on the nut right up here. I'm just gonna go. We don't want too much tension, but we don't want too little tension. Now what we're gonna do, since we have it all the way around the tuner at least one time right up here, we are going to go ahead and get our wire cutters and clip the end of the string that is hanging off. You want to be very careful that you do not clip the string that you had just strung. You just want to clip the end of it that is hanging off the edge. Well, the string that we're going to do next, we're going to get these other strings out of the way here. We're going to go with the bottom E string. Some people just go top E and down. I like to go bottom E, or top E, bottom E, then 5th string, 2nd string, 4th string, 3rd string. That way we always have equal tension on each side. Again, same with the bottom E string. Make sure everything's all lined up. Fingers width high. And push down on the string, right on the head. And this one you're going to want to twist down towards the body of the guitar. Couldn't keep twisting until you get enough tension for it to do its own thing, so you don't have to guide it anymore. When you're changing strings, you want to always make sure that you have tension right before the tuner. You do not want the string to go on the top part of the tuner. Just doesn't keep a tune as well. Again, we're just going to clip the end of this string so it's not hanging off. Discard it. Then we're going to go back up to the 5th string, which is the A string. Again, get the tuner aligned. Slip the string in the hole. Make sure everything's all lined up. And then string finger width on the 12th fret. Push down on the string. And twist the tuner knob up away from the body. It can be a long and boring process, but get used to it eventually. Once you have enough tension, sometimes your strings will stretch while you're trying to string them, but it's alright. Then, like the others, clip the end of the string, discard. Moving back down to the second last string, which is the B string. Again, make sure everything's aligned. Finger width apart on the 12th fret. Then twist the tuner knob down towards the body. You always want to make sure you're twisting the tuner knobs the right way, because you always want the strings to be on the inside of the tuners, not on the outside. Having them on the outside of the head is going to be very bad. It's not going to line up with the nut on the guitar, and it's just not going to be good. Be cautious while you are stringing. Sometimes you'll get a string poke you, and they're very sharp. Back up to the 4th string. Make sure everything's all lined up good. Finger width apart on the 12th fret. Then twist the tuning knob up away from the body. With every string, you want just enough tension before you actually tune the guitar. You want just enough tension to get the sound to not be buzzing. Yeah, you want the sound to not be buzzing, just enough tension so it's not buzzing. And then you can go ahead and clip the strings because we're still going to need to stretch them. Stretching the strings, you want to be very careful. You don't want to stretch them too hard. So basically, you want to stretch the strings with your bare hands. Using like a t-shirt or a cloth to put under your hand and stretching the strings is a very bad idea because you can stretch the strings harder than what you need to and the strings will actually break. Stretching the strings with your bare hands will actually kind of hurt your hands a little bit because they are basically metal wires. So you want to make sure, like I said, you don't stretch them too hard, but stretching them with your bare hands, just basically go until it kind of hurts a little bit, and you should be good. After we have all the strings on, just kind of grab the string, pull on it. Not too hard, but hard enough where you can feel the string kind of stretch. Go ahead and tighten it back up a little bit. Same with this one, just kind of pull and stretch. They should stretch quite a bit. These are brand new strings, so Ernie balls typically stretch a lot, so. If you're not too much of an Ernie ball fan, I would also recommend Diodario strings. I used those for a while. Either way, they're both very nice strings. I just prefer Ernie balls over anything. Sometimes your strings will kind of pop and go really, really super loose. That's not necessarily a bad thing unless the string actually breaks or the tuner knobs themselves break. It just means that they're stretching. They're gonna stretch a lot, so if your strings do that, do not worry. It is perfectly normal. The last two strings are where you're going to want to be most careful with. Those will break easier than any of them. And that's how you string a guitar. I will post a thing in the comments of how to tune the E standard as well. Basically, the first note in the comments will be the 6th string, which is the very top string, then 5th, 4th, 3rd, 2nd, and 1st. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Comment and like. If you guys want any more instructional videos of how to play songs or how to do other things, just comment and I will get to that. Thanks for watching, guys.